We have fire. I think it's burning down pretty good now. Hello, welcome back to another episode from Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'm Bill. Glad you could join me. My apologies for being absent for the past 3 weeks. I've had some issues to deal with, mechanical issues with my truck, mainly, which aren't entirely resolved all the way yet, but at least I was able to get up here, and I'm in the midst of filming another video or two. What you were watching me do is harvest a wheel for a just a primitive utility cart that could be used during a long-term stay in the wilderness for hauling squaw wood on or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over, I have it laid out on the ground, and we'll go ahead and take a look at it, and I'll do a little bit of explaining about it. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back. This is the cart here, and I just have it laid out right now. I'm going to use tree roots, split tree roots, as cordage to lash this thing together. That's going to be the next step. So that's the wheel that you seen me cutting out there. That was a bit of a chore cutting that round. It's probably about probably at least a good 10-inch round with that little hand saw. That's probably about the biggest job that I could tackle with that folding saw. And the axle, I used that as a bow drill bit to drill through. I found the center there, and I used a pine needle to find the half of the length of that stick that I had laid out on top of the round, and that gave me the center of the round. And then I moved the stick around to find the exact center of that radius. Kind of a simple little way of doing that using natural materials, and use the bow drill. This axle, used it as a bow drill spindle to drill a hole through there. That was a bit of a chore. I had to keep taking breaks, and then I cleaned the hole up with my folding knife blade. And these are just 2 poles that I found laying around. It's just deadfall. I wasn't about to cut any trees down to do this for demonstration purposes. And then up here, I just have just a couple pieces of deadfall that have the sticks, the nubs sticking up here, and I left those on because when you use tree roots and to lash these on using square lashings, and to tie them off, there, and then the axle is underneath. Where's my finger? There we go. Underneath the poles on both sides, and these will also be, this axle will be attached to the pole using tree roots and square lashing, which is a pretty effective lashing for this type of job here. And I have the axle on the underside, so any load that is on top of this is going to press down on the axle. It's just a much more stable platform than trying to put the axle on top and having the roots take the brunt of the load. This way the roots just act to keep the axle in place, and any load is going to press down on the axle, so it's pretty secure. And this thing isn't going to carry 200 pounds, so you have to be kind of careful with how much weight is put on here. So with these nubs, my thought was, in a long-term wilderness situation, this would be a nice little utility cart to have in camp. To well, you can take it, collect squaw wood with it, and you could stack the squaw wood, just the deadfall across here. These nubs, when I lash it, I'm going to lash it with the nubs facing upward, break these off here, So there's a couple inches, 2-3 inches of nub sticking up, and that'll help secure the load from slipping and sliding downward here. And more of these could be added. I mean, heck, you could add another 2 or 3 on the way down here. I'm just going to put a few on here for demonstration purposes. And after these cross pieces are lashed on, then I'll put some squaw wood on here, stack it on, and maybe take a green fir bow and bend it, put it the end under here, and then bend it over the load, and then attach it underneath this other one to kind of help keep it keep the wood on there so it doesn't bounce and roll off. So, and that is the handles up here on the top. And these poles are probably, oh, they've got to be at least 6 foot long. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this lashed up and give it a try. Stay tuned, I shall return. Okay, I've got it laid out here, and I have pretty good amount of tree root cordage. I'm not going to get too crazy on this for the simple fact that it's just for demonstration purposes. One thing I wanted to point out, and I'm sure some of you have already seen earlier in the video, the split here in the round. And I didn't realize it at the time when I cut this from that fallen pine, that there was a split in the trunk on the underside, and the split goes up quite a ways. So if I was building this with the idea of using it long term, in a long term wilderness living scenario, I would have to seek out a better piece, because this is not going to last very long with that split in there. Hopefully it'll last long enough for a demonstration here, but I'm going to go ahead and put it together anyways. Just wanted to point that out. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to put the axle on the bottom of these 2 long pieces. That way the load pushes down onto the axle, and the joint here carries the weight, as opposed to if it was on top, the root cordage would carry the weight as it would be pushing down. So this is a little bit stronger way of doing this. And I'm just going to use a minimum amount here just to put this thing together. I'm going to use a square lashing. I'll leave just enough of a tag end out here to tie this thing off when we terminate the end of this. And I'm not going to get crazy with this. Just enough here to do a demonstration. Tell you, the tree root cordage really makes for a very strong cordage, primitive cordage. Get you guys down here so you can see what I'm doing, so I don't drift out of frame. Grab another piece of cordage here. That one's kind of thick. It'd probably be split. These D-lashings are really a strong way of joining 2 pieces together. They work extremely well. And I'm running a little bit out of, I think this will work. We'll just terminate it right in here. You can also strengthen one of these lashings by running another piece of cordage around this area here. That's called frapping. Just run it all the way through, run several windings, and then just tie it off, and that just cinches the whole thing together. If I was in a long-term situation, I was going to use this with the idea of in a long-term situation, I would frap all of these so the pieces aren't going to drift. But for demonstration purposes, I think we're good here. So here is the axle. I'm going to go ahead and reposition the camera, and we'll put the two cross pieces on. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm up here near the handle end, and is the width that you spread these top pieces, I would say probably just put it at a comfortable width that you can grab onto them, like two wheelbarrow handles. You don't want it too wide, you don't want it too narrow, and a decent width that you can carry things on. Also, I'm putting my knee on this here, so the wheel at the other end is more or less vertical. Otherwise these things will kind of flop over and roll here. So we'll go ahead, and this one has the nubs on it, so I'm going to put the nubby one here. That way whatever we put on here these nubs will keep it from sliding off. So I'll probably put this one right here. And use this piece of cordage. Get this thing between my knees so I can hold it. Okay, we'll grab another piece of cordage here. Go to the other side. Rotate this so that these are facing upward. Actually, these are square lashings, not D lashings. I think I said D earlier. These are square lashings. I'm just tying these off, terminating these two tag ends in just a simple overhand knot. Not getting too crazy. So that's pretty solid there. And you can add more on these, as many as you want actually. Like I said, this is just for demonstration purposes, so I'm not going to get too crazy here. I think everybody will have a pretty good idea of what's going on here. Looks like I'm going to have just enough cordage to pull this off. Yeah, we're pretty tight on cordage there, so I'm just going to terminate it here. I'm actually going to split this one, it's a little wide. I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera so I'm not boring you guys while I reduce this down. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back. I just split this last root here down. I think I'll use the thinner piece here. One's still a little thicker than the other. I could probably split this one down again. But we have enough here, so. This thing looks like it's more or less even. Ran this piece a little short. Actually, I think I'm going to have to terminate it this way. Leave enough of the tag ends to knot it. Okay. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put some branches on here like I was collecting squaw wood or something, and see how this thing performs. Hey guys, I'm back. What I feared was going to happen happened. That split As soon as I picked this thing up and started rolling it around, it broke. I figured that's what was going to happen, and I was hoping it was going to last at least long enough for a demonstration. So so much for this. I did go further up on that same fallen pine, and I cut another round. This one's not quite as big. I'm hoping it'll still work okay, as long as it gives enough ground clearance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this bark off here and get the hole in here for the axle, and I'm not going to film all that because we already went through that earlier in the video. And when I get all of that done, and get this lashed on and ready to give it a test, I'll go ahead and I will return. Hey, welcome back. I just wanted to go over a few things on this cart. A little modification I did on it. There's probably about 80 pounds of wood on this thing. It's actually pretty heavy, and I'm really impressed by how it's functioned. The only problem that I ran across was got my shadow here, was the wheel wanted to migrate on the spindle this way. Now I made the spindle, or the axle rather, skinnier. This is the part that I inserted through the hole in the wheel. This is fat over here, so it's not going to go this way. So I just took a piece of tree root, because the wheel, as it was rolling, wanted to migrate this way, which it still worked, but I prefer to keep the wheel in the center. Just wrapped a piece of tree root around here and knotted it off, and it works really good. I haven't had a problem with it. There's a couple ways you could fix this. You know, you could always drill a little hole through there and put a little whittle out a little wooden dowel, but you know, my mode of thinking, it'll tend to weaken the axle. You could make some bushings, but then you have to hollow them out, and they have to go over the axle. Just a lot of extra work. So I'm thinking this will work really good. And when these tree roots dry, they dry really hard and stiff. So this is just a quick little fix for the issue there. But the smaller wheel works actually really well. Plenty of ground clearance for the ends here. I actually think the smaller wheel worked better than the large one, because it tends to not want to flop over on the axle, because you got to have a little bit of play in here. And I suppose this could probably be lubricated up in a primitive situation. You can put tallow on here, you know, lube the axle up really good. Tallow would probably work pretty well for that. But this is a pretty good stack of wood on here. I threw some bigger pieces on there, and it's quite a bit of weight on there. I'm going to say it's probably close to 80 pounds, maybe 90. It's a fair amount of weight. Could it hold more? Yeah, I could probably take some more. What I would start to become worried would be the axle carrying that weight, and too much weight on the wheel causing the wheel to split, which I don't see any issues so far. And I've pushed it around out here several times, testing it out, and actually works really well. It goes over the rocky ground pretty nice. I'm pretty impressed with it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did making it for you. Please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, I will see all of you very soon on the next one. I hope everybody is having a great day or night, depending on where you're located. See you very soon on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.